bio and info.
There's bio info, and then it should say character sheet, right?
Nope.
Okay, and we are live, everyone.
Oh, I forgot. Here. Exit back out and go back in, Steve.
Okay, let me do the intro, and then we can work on how to do this character sheet and everything. Welcome to the 3-episode podcast, everyone. Tonight we're starting our D&D trio that we are calling How to D&D, where we are teaching Val the ins and outs of D&D, and we're going to play a nice little campaign with Ryan being the DM. Tonight's going to be on races and classes and how to create a character. So we're going to share all of that stuff. Ryan has a nice little campaign that we're going to play over the next week or two after tonight. So that's kind of going to be a setup thing. And so that is tonight. I am your host, Justin. With us is DM Ryan. Say hello.
Hello.
We have Steve, who already has his name up, apparently. Maverick Loam. Steve?
Yes.
Okay.
Morning. Cool. Sorry.
And then we have first timer D&D virgin Val.
Let's pop this cherry.
Yeah.
Val, how long has it been since you were called a virgin?
I've been alive as not a virgin longer than I haven't. So do the math.
I was a good answer to the question. Yeah, good answer to the question. I like that. Okay. So, Ryan, do you want to take us through a brief description of character creation, and then we'll, I think we're all kind of going through and figuring out our characters at the moment.
Okay, so character creation is probably the hardest part of D&D to learn. It's what enables you to do D&D basically. So it's like everything after this is practically painless. After this, Val, everything after this is like once you understand what's on your character sheet, you'll understand the game basically. We're going to do a bunch of maths tonight, although we're going to be using the Roll20 compendium builder. That's going to make it a lot easier than like standard paper building of your character. It's going to do most of the math for you. But, there's certain things that you're going to make decisions. And then from those decisions, we're going to figure out what your character looks like. And what the character sheet is important because, as you know, D&D is a game in which anything can happen, but everything that happens is determined by dice rolls. It's how it keeps everything even, fair, and also so that everybody's not a god, because maybe you roll a nat 1 and your character dies. It keeps us all fallible within D&D. It keeps it grounded. So what we're going to be building tonight is who your character is, what they're good at, and what they like, and what their like classes is and everything like that. And all that's going to come down to numbers. And that's what we're going to figure out. All right.
Are we going to do the Adventure League spread, or are we going to do a dice roll?
I believe here it's...
So the difference is, Val, so classic D&D, there's different ways you could do the dice roll. But classic D&D, you would roll dice for your 6 abilities. So that's strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And they all play a part in the actual game. So let's say you want to punch a dude in the face. You would roll a d20 and add whatever your strength is. And that would be how successful you are. So those 6 things break down what your character is good and bad at. So there's a thing called the Adventure League, and what they introduced was they basically gave 6 numbers, 6 preset numbers, and you decide where each number goes. So it made it a little simpler instead of just the randomness, the chaos of the dice system. So that's what I asked. Are we going to do random dice numbers, or are we going to do Adventure League just the amounts?
I think we're going to do Adventure League, but we'll get to abilities. That's not where we're going to start. We're going to start with races. That's where we're going to start. So we'll get to ability scores and everything after we pick out the class and everything that is going to be done. So you told us before we started that you have a little bit of homework done. What have you figured out about your character?
So I figured out a good name, race, class, a little bit of personality, and backstory, and that's about it.
Okay. What is the name of your character then?
Okay, I'm gonna explain it because it's the dorkiest thing I've ever done in my life.
Welcome to D&D.
I know this is inevitable in my life. So the name I came up with was Madra Kementari, and the name comes from the Gelfling word for mother from the Dark Crystal, Madra. And Kementari is early Elvish word for Earth Queen in the Lord of the Rings world, in the Tolkien elf world. So
that is very nerdy, Val. That's extremely nerdy.
That was the hardest part, was coming up. I fucking sat for an hour trying to learn there's an Elvish dictionary, and I spent too much time on it. So yeah, it's that's my name.
I'll tell you what, it's very appreciated. I'll tell you that. Justin usually likes to have weird names and stuff too. Steve's got interesting names.
Yeah.
And then you come to me, and I used to have a character just called Leather Daddy. His name was Leather Daddy, and that's what he was. He was a Leather Daddy.
I love that.
Yeah, he was a Leather Daddy. He was a gimp. He was a very big gimp fighter.
Oh my god!
There's a chart of what your characters look like when you first start. It's kind of starting this is interesting, and then you go up the peak and you're like, oh, I got to get this really interesting name with this really interesting background. I'm gonna put so much into it, and then when you play D&D for long enough, it just goes into this valley of just, his name is Bucket. Why is his name Bucket? Because that's what he lived in when he was little. He just lived in a bucket, so people call him Bucket. Call me Bucket.
Oh my god, I love this bell curve. I can't wait to see what my brain comes up with when I'm just the fuck it bucket.
It's Bucket. That's his name. It's Bucket. I don't care.
I love that.
Okay, so we have Modra. Madra or Modra?
Modra. I don't know. I haven't watched The Dark Crystal in a long time. So
yeah, I've never watched it.
Let's just say Madra.
Okay, Madra. It creeps me out. I don't watch that movie.
That's one of my OG nerd things.
And what race have you picked out?
I chose half elf.
Half elf?
Yeah, because I thought elf was way too classy for who I am. Yeah. But I also really like half the stuff that elves do. So yeah, I thought half elf was a good starting point.
So half elf is an interesting thing. So a half elf is basically an elf mixed with a human, whereas full elf characters are really usually very intelligent, very stuck up, and are more of focused on either being in the woods shooting bows and running away from things, or very powerful magicians, magic users, and also druids and stuff like that is elves. When you get to half elf, they're basically in between the two. When it comes down to the math of it, basically instead of being very good in both charisma, so Oh, you're more dexterous instead of being charisma based. As an elf is more dexterous. Elves also have certain things like elves have dark vision, so they could see in the dark, and they have certain things that have advantages, like they can't be charmed by magic, and also elves don't sleep, so that's always fun. It's always fun having a elf character in the party because everybody, when you need to sleep at night to heal and pretty much just to get all your energy back, effect spells and stuff like that, you'll see as we go along.
The elf kind of chills out.
An elf just sits in a trance instead of going to sleep like everyone else.
So is a half elf kind of like can do some of those things kind of well? That's like what a half elf is?
Kind of. Half elves have the dark vision, but they do need to sleep. That's basically the main difference when it comes down to like actual gameplay is they have to actually sleep, unlike full elves.
Mm-hmm.
And they're better at being charismatic, so talking to people, getting people to do what they want, rather than elves that are more dexterous.
Yeah, I kind of liked the idea of being like caught between two species. I thought that was really a really neat jumping off place.
How did it happen? Was mother elf or father elf?
So I said that the mother was an elf and the father was a human.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, and then I just kind of like wrote down a bunch of stuff about my life, and then just didn't know. I kind of just wrote it down as like if I'm allowed to have that happen, that's fine. Because like I don't know how much I'm allowed to say my life is like, because I don't know, you know what I mean? Because I don't know how it goes. So like I have a backstory, but I don't know if it's gonna be like, oh well, yeah, you can't decide that you can do that because you gotta like figure that out as you go.
Why don't you tell us the backstory, and that'll maybe help us in building.
Okay, cool. So my backstory was that there's like a little like cluster of elves that live like in the outer forest, not like in the inner forest. And then so there was a human man who was just kind of like hanging out at the edge of the forest, and there's an elf mother who I haven't decided if it was like royalty, but like my last name has the word queen in it, so I figured it would be cool to have the mother be like a noble person or like some kind of
wayward princess.
What?
Wayward princess.
Yeah. So like this, my idea was like this elf royalty person meets this human man, and they fall in love, and then they have Madra, and that she's born on the summer solstice because like the summer solstice just happened. I was like, how cool would it be if she was born in the summer solstice?
I like it.
Yeah, so born in the summer solstice during a meteor shower because I was like, I'm a space potato. And then as I grew up, my mother taught me how to like commune with animals, and like so I kind of had it that like I was straddling the two cultures where like I would spend some time with my like the elves and like learn about animals and plants and the like the meditating and the trancing and the I don't know, like things that are super cool that elves can do, like telekinesis or whatever they can move and the elements that they can use.
Yeah.
And then I would go to spend some time.
They can't do telekinesis. That's magic
like those types of weird magic things.
Yeah.
And then I would go to the human side and learn about like plant medicine and like herbology and things like that are like kind of connected to being a druid, but are more like things that humans have had to develop to get by. The village of elves that I am from, they all like all the royalty wears antlers, so I have a little like hat crown thing of antlers that I wear all the time. I really like bones and crystals and dead things, so I usually am like constantly picking up things off the ground to just kind of like ooh, a shiny, kind of like a crow.
Yeah.
I am usually holding like I'll just like see an animal and just like stick it in my pocket for a couple hours or days, and just like whenever it wants to leave, it can leave, and it's
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean? Just like I always have a bud. I wrote that I am like I'm like learning to meditate, but like not great at it. Because
Yeah.
I'm like I can't trance so well. I never wear shoes.
Yeah.
And when I sleep in the trees. And that's all I got so far.
Cool.
Is that coming
Very
up?
good.
That should be coming up, right? All right, cool. So this is what we're already working on for your character sheet. So a couple of questions I have about the character from that. Is she accepted? It's a she, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Is she accepted by the elves? Because usually elves and humans, like the mixing therein sometimes isn't really. Is it more of like she spends time with her father and then she spends time with the elves, but never at the same time kind of thing?
Yeah. So I kind of had it in my mind that like she's like tolerant, like she's accepted by both, but the idea of everybody being in the same place at the same time would probably create a lot of tension.
Yeah.
So it's usually like, I'm gonna go hang out with my mom for a little while and like accepted with the elves, and then I'm gonna go hang out with my dad for a little while and hang out with humans. And like it's not outwardly, it reminded me of like subtle racism. Like it's not outward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is the crown something kind of like something she made herself, not an actual like official crown? It's kind of like something that she's like, I'm part of the family, but they're not exactly going to call me royal.
So the way I had the crown was that it had like antlers from that, like the elves kind of like collected and put into a crown because they all wear antler crowns.
Yeah.
But then I added in like little stones and stuff that like were from so I like the crown is kind of like a bastardization of everything. So like I wear it all the time, but it was like it's got both sides in it.
Okay, very cool. All right, so far I got you erased down as half elf. You got a +2 on charisma, which means you're better at doing things like talking to people. I gave you're also able to, when you're building a half elf, you're also able to add an increase of 1 to 2 ability scores. I did 1 for wisdom and 1 constitution for you so far. I think that's probably be the best. We're not gonna min max. We're gonna just build straight. Alignment sounds like a neutral good character to me. Not really necessarily chaotic good, but neutral good. You're not like exactly going to be lawful. You're going to be more of like, whatever, but I'm probably going to do good.
Yeah, ambivalent.
Yeah. So now we get down to skill proficiencies. So skills are basically there is two levels of rolling for things when it comes to like something happening in the world. For instance, if you were going to need to get over, like there's a wall in front of you that you need to get over, you could use something like acrobatics to do like some sort of acrobatic roll over the top, or you could use athletics to get over the top. Each one of these skills is linked to a certain one of your abilities. So there's 6 abilities that Justin was talking about. Each one of these is linked to one of those. They're like sub roles. So sometimes a situation will come up and I will be like, I need you to roll a nature check. And that means when you roll the D20, you add your nature score, which is your skill. Okay. It's sounding like, so overall, so acrobatics, everybody can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So acrobatics is more of like tumbling, and like acrobatics is pretty easy. It's pretty much anything Simone Biles would be very good at. Animal handling is how well you interact with animals.
Yeah.
A lot of DMs have different uses for animal handling. There's a lot of like different things out there for like, you can just use it for like, talking to an animal, or animal is running towards you and you need to do an animal handling. But animal handling also sometimes is used for things like driving a cart, or like figuring out exactly the temperament of an animal. Like a wolf is like coming to you and you want to use animal handling to figure out whether it's coming to attack you or it's going to run away from you. That sort of thing. Arcana is basically figuring out magic. How well do you know magic is Arcana. So that's like lore behind magic, stuff like that. You can ask me any questions you want, by the way. Just
Okay. I'm taking
athletics.
notes. I got a notebook like the nerd I am.
Very awesome. So athletics is going to be more of stuff like weightlifting things, picking up a heavy door, breaking down a heavy door, that sort of stuff. Deception is basically between two things. Deception can be either how well you deceive a person by talking to them. Deception can also be how well you are at disguising something or something like that. Like say, for instance, the party needs to go hide somewhere. Deception can be used to be like, oh, we're going to make camouflage. Deception might be used to do that. History in a D&D game is used specifically more for two things in a D&D game. It's either I love to use it as a DM to be like, I've already told you people this. If you don't remember what it is, and we've already been talking about it in the campaign, I'm going to have you roll a history check, and that's going to be how well you know information that I've already told you. History checks can also be, for instance, if you had a wizard character and you want to roll a history check to be like, have I heard about this by reading a book before? And maybe you'll have other information that your character might have had before the story started. Insight is specifically used for if you're in a social situation and you want to be able to ask the DM, is this person lying to me? Is this person hiding something? What is this person's intentions? Is this a good person, a bad person? That's insight. Intimidation is pretty self-explanatory. You want to intimidate something. You want to scare the shit out of somebody to either get what you want or make it scared. Investigation. So there's two skills that are very closely entwined with each other. They are perception and investigation. So perception is going to be you're standing on a cliff and you're looking around and you're trying to find the magic tree in the forest. Perception is you trying to find it in the forest. So you're looking, perception is more of like big wide area. Whereas investigation is I'm in a room, I'm trying to find a secret cabinet or a lock. That's investigation. All right. If any of these are probably, you're going to get to pick two of these. So if any of these is like popping out to you as something that you want to choose, tell me.
All right, I'm making a list and then I'm crossing them off as I go to hear about them.
Okay.
List. She's taking it twice. Sorry.
So medicine is one of the least used skills in D&D. Medicine.
Say one of the least used?
Yes.
Yeah, it's something people don't use or don't pick up, and then all of a sudden someone's injured, and they're like, you need to heal them. And they're like, do you have medicine? No. Well, you can try and make an untrained medicine check, and then you fail. So
And then you end up stabbing the person to open it. Oh, he's choking on someone. I'm going to stab his throat open. You kill him. That sort of stuff.
So medicine is one of the most not used because people don't think it's useful until they get into the situation. And then you're playing a game and you're like, oh, next time I'm going to take medicine. And then next time you make a character, you go, I don't want medicine.
God damn it.
Every single time. Every time.
Medicine is basically healing somebody without magic kind of thing. Also healing things like poison, sometimes curses, everything like that. If you want to do it like just standard how we would do it in a normal world, that's medicine. Nature checks are specifically a knowledge check to do with nature. So what kind of plant is this? What kind of animal is this? That sort of thing. That's a nature check.
That meme where he's holding the butterfly up.
Yes. What is this? Nature check. We already talked about perception. Performance. Performance is fun. If you have a bard character, you need to take performance. Performance is very fun. It is basically, you want to play music. You're in a bar. You want to play music. You got to take performance.
I have a +4 to performance on this character, but we'll get to my character in a second.
That's so low.
But yeah, that's pretty low for a bard. Steve, what was your last bard's character's plus for performance?
Plus 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to give them, we're level 1 at the moment, right?
Yes.
So mine was only like a +5 or 6.
Yeah. All right. So performance is specifically is beyond just like playing an instrument or something like that. Performance could also be like
causing a distraction. Causing a distraction.
Yeah, causing a distraction, stuff like that.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Watch me juggle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Persuasion. Persuasion is how well you can sell snake oil, basically, is persuasion. How well you can convince a character. Say you need to convince like recently happened in a game I'm DMing. This priest, his son had been bitten by a vampire. And he was really distraught. And the party went down into the crypt to go help his son. And before they went down into the crypt, the priest said to them, please spare his life. Just do whatever you can to help him. Just spare his life. They went down into the crypt and started trying to talk to the vampire boy. But vampire boy just wanted to eat. So they ended up killing vampire boy. Now, when they came back out of the crypt, the priest was like, did you kill my son? One of my characters walked over to him, rolled a nat 20 persuasion and said, no, it's a good thing we killed your son. It's an excellent thing. And the priest became their best friend for killing his son. That is persuasion. Okay.
I like
religion checks. A religion check is two things. It is a knowledge of religion check. So how well do you know what this weird artifact from an elder god means? Religion is also a check if you were a cleric or something like that to figure out how well you appease a god or how well ritual goes. Sleight of hand is pretty self-explanatory. It's how well you steal things without people knowing what you're doing. Stealth checks. Stealth checks are one of the most important things to roll. Stealth checks are rolled when you need to hide from something or when you need to sneak past things, which happens a lot in D&D unless you just want to be a barbarian. And just run into every fight everywhere. Otherwise,
not true.
Stealth is your friend.
Not true. I
No?
changed that. I changed that. Remember,
Yeah.
with Loops. Loops didn't
Yes.
run in.
No, Loops was a stealth person.
Who's Loops?
Loops is
My-
his
That was
old
his last character.
His
Yeah.
name, the whole name was Loops.
Loops.
I like that.
Well, actually, there was a deep backstory to Loops.
Oh God.
It was yes. Her original name was Lupina.
Lucinda? No.
Lucinda. No, it was Lucinda.
Lucinda. It was. I have it written down
Her
somewhere.
parents were both killed in front of her, and it was a big part of the campaign, basically, that both of her characters were killed in front of her.
Made me cry.
Yeah,
Made me
I know.
cry.
I know. It's too bad we're not back in that campaign because you're going to meet your father again. So,
But
All right,
he's
so
dead.
what's survival?
he
'Cause I got
wasn't,
some
Steve.
questions.
You wasn't. All right. So survival is things like we'll talk about it later, Steve. Survival is things like if you're deep in the woods and you need to do things like hunt down your next meal,
Uh-huh.
make a tent, make a trap,
Start a fire.
set a fire, that sort of thing.
Yeah, Bear Grylls shit.
Bear Grylls shit. Exactly. That's survival.
Gotcha. I'll drink my own pee.
So, what do you think? What skills do you want to?
So, am I good at anything, or just like is
You
there
can be
anything
good
I'm
at
naturally
anything,
good
yeah.
at?
You could be good at anything.
So, but do I? So I only get to pick two, and then do I ever get to have more than
No,
two?
no. It later on in the game. So
Oh, I'm
we're
starting.
going to
with
keep
two.
going with this.
Okay.
This is just the beginning. So, what are you feeling so far are skills that your character would be good at?
There's 4 that I'm stuck on. 5 that I'm stuck on. Okay, so I'm stuck between animal handling, arcana, insight, medicine, and nature. Those are the 5 that like. I don't think I really need nature because I'm a druid. A druid doesn't a druid already have like a ton of nature knowledge?
It's probably going to add on to your nature. Yes.
You want to be good at nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe like nature should be. I don't know, because like animal handling and nature are like kind of what a druid does, right?
Yeah.
So Val, one of the things that
a typical druid.
right.
Yeah.
But Val, because of your backstory, one of the things that you do is you grab a wild animal and put them in your pocket. You want
So
better
animal-
roles for that, so you might want animal handling as one of them.
Yeah.
Definitely animal handling.
Okay, so I think I think I need to go with animal handling. I
Yeah.
feel, but I'm a half elf, so I feel like Arcana would be something to be smart with.
Yeah.
'Cause elves
I
know
mean,
a
maybe
lot of
you're
magic.
taught. Maybe you're taught a lot of magic.
That's kind of part of my backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then like medicine was part of the backstory of the human side.
Yes, it was.
Fuck you guys.
So, what things do you feel like your character would excel at more between the few things that you have?
So I think I definitely want to do animal handling.
Yep.
And then let's do Arcana to get the elf side. And then I mean the only one that I'm really
Well, we're picking 2 right now.
yeah.
That's what we're doing. All right.
So we'll do those 2. Animal handling and Arcana.
All right. I'm going to give you an extra language proficiency of Sylvan because it's usually something that Elven children would be taught anyway. So that'll come into play if you ever meet anyone that speaks Sylvan.
Okay.
All right. And yeah, so we're done with
Justin,
this.
why are you giggling? Who's giggling? Who's giggling about Sylvan? Is that a thing?
It is.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, no, Sylvan's a thing.
Yeah. All
No,
right.
I think I laughed because running into someone that speaks Sylvan, it was just, I don't know, funny.
Is it? What is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't
Uh.
usually run into people who speak Sylvan. Magical people speak Sylvan.
Okay,
So
so I'm a druid, right? So that
I get a druid. Yep. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna keep my thing the way it is.
So
I uploaded a picture of myself. Just
cool.
I see. All right. So as a druid, so these are some. We're starting to get to the math now of building a character. The other stuff will affect the math, but this is the main math stuff. So your hit dice, that's going to be basically what determines how much health you have. And then your hit points is your health. So at first level, you're going to have 8 plus your Constitution modifier. We're going to do that next. That's the next tab. And then it goes up following this rule from there. So every class has a different hit point like generation. So when you start, you have certain proficiencies. Proficiencies are basically how well you use things. According to D&D, I never actually follow this rule. Druids will not use anything made of metal. I think it's bullshit. We're not going to worry about that. So usually druids will wear light armor, medium armor, and use shields. Basically, you're not going to want a druid usually wouldn't want to wear like big, heavy scale mail like a knight. They prefer things like leather and like light like chain shirts.
Okay.
Like that. You have a weapon proficiency. We'll be picking out a weapon later. With clubs, daggers, darts, javelins, maces, quarterstaffs, scimitars, sickles, slings, and spears.
Whoa.
Yeah. And you get a herbalism kit right off.
Hell yeah.
That will be something you can use later on. And you are proficient in intelligence and wisdom. And then we'll get down to another thing of you'll be able to choose 2 more skills too.
Cool.
Yeah. So all this stuff is pretty much the math that's going to be going with when you level up. Let me make this like bigger so you can kind of see this. It's going to basically there. See this table right here where I'm looking at. So this is going to add on to the math that we're going to be doing.
Okay.
And this tells you which features you get per level. And then this is how many spells you get. It goes up, as you can see, as you level up, you get more spells and so on and so on. Yeah.
Cool.
So we're going to start off with 2 cantrips and 2 first level spells. Let me get down there. All right. So the best thing that you're going to get is going to be at second level. So the most important.
God, wild shape.
Oh yeah, this is the cool shit.
We're gonna have a wild shaper on our hands.
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
Yes.
It can be entertaining.
Yes.
It basically means you can go, I'm a bird.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like Maui from Moana.
Yes.
Basically,
Yes.
yes, very much so. So at second level, so when you level up once, you're going to be able to do this. You can change your shape into a beast. There's certain rules that go with it. At first, you're not going to be able to do anything that flies or swims.
Okay.
And then it's going to go up from there. There's certain, like at first you can't like just turn into a T-Rex. There's certain limitations
Okay.
as far as that goes.
So like I'll start off as like a squirrel or something.
Squirrel, wolf, like deer.
Spiders.
Good. Can I become 800 spiders instead of one big wolf?
No, only one. Only one
that's-
animal.
Oh,
There's
that'll
a
only work if
special-
I need like
There's a special class that's being built right now that is a swarm druid.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like
It's
that.
kind of BS right now and is still in the playtesting stage because I've heard stories of people using the playtest of it, and basically it's like you could fuck anyone up that you want. You're just
Yeah,
like
that sounds
fucking
kind
fighters.
of like it breaks
Yeah.
things down pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of overpowered.
Yep. When you transform into a beast, you change like your whole character sheet changes to whatever the beast character sheet is. So their health, their armor, their everything switches over to that. All right. So
Okay.
and then if someone attacks you as that beast, say you are a rat and you only have 1 health point, if they do more than 1 damage to you, you turn back to yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when a Pokemon loses all of its HP, it goes back into the egg.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you just call the Pokeball an egg?
Yeah,
It goes back into the ball.
Yeah.
But it's a fucking egg. Plastic egg. Listen, I'm making do with what nerd references I have.
Yeah. I mean, you pulled out some pretty heavy duty for the name, so I don't know. All right. Well, let's keep going. So you get to choose 2 more of those skills that we talked about.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Medicine? No. Just kidding. Nature and insight.
Nature. Insight. All right.
Why are you laughing, Steve?
I knew it was gonna happen.
Why? What's gonna happen?
I'm gonna do medicine. Never mind.
Someone else will do medicine.
All right.
I'm not doing medicine. My sheet's all done. I did not choose medicine. I'll tell you that.
Well, fuck it.
Well, what I want to build is not technically on here, so I gotta wait.
I am a beautiful blonde.
Something else, and then put everything in your sheet.
I want it to be a Goliath.
Okay.
Can you name something funny like beans?
I like beans.
I mean, his name's already Maverick, but
beans for short.
Beans for short. It's beans for short.
I think, oh man, now I'm excited to make a second character that's just completely silly. I took this so seriously, and now I'm gonna make the next one just be complete ridiculousness.
Welcome to D&D.
Welcome to D&D.
So this is where we start. This is where we start getting kind of fun. All right. So how are we going to choose ability scores? How do you guys do your ability scores?
The 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8.
So we're going to use standard array.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. So Val,
Sure.
what do you want to be your most important stat?
So basically, you're going to choose. You're going to choose most important to least important, Val.
Okay. And then they'll each be most important to least important will be those numbers that you had just said. 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8, or whatever.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. And then if you look at, I think Ryan's trying to find it on the right side, each of those numbers represent a plus or minus. So I think 15 is +3, 14 is +2, 13 is +1, something like that. And then,
So,
and then 10 is a 0 and 8 is -1. So what that means, like the -1, if you were to roll a d20 and get a 15, your actual roll is a 14 because it takes away 1.
Okay. Could I see the things to choose from?
All right.
They're right here.
They're right here. So strength.
Oh wait, can you scroll it to their descriptors that you just had? It said
Okay.
yeah, that's perfect. Great.
So my favorite way of describing these is with the tomato. All right. So think of a tomato in front of you.
Yeah.
Strength is smashing that tomato or throwing that tomato as hard as you can. That is strength. So dexterity is basically how well. No, strength is smashing. Dexterity
Strength is smashing the tomato. Dexterity is juggling the tomato.
Okay.
Constitution is eating a rotten tomato and not throwing up. Constitution is also pretty important in overall numbers. Constitution is going to add to your health, how healthy you are by how much tomatoes you eat.
Yeah.
Intelligence is knowing the tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then charisma is how pretty you are.
Oh.
Just think about that. Charisma is how pretty.
Charisma is how well you sell the tomato.
All right.
Yes, charisma is how pretty you are, not physically. Charisma is how well you come across, like how well you can like charm someone.
All right, so let's do Constitution as 15, please.
All right. So we're going to start with. So one thing that you do need to know as a druid is wisdom is the stat that you're going to be casting your spells at.
Okay.
So it's one of the more important things for you.
So
to
should
do.
I do that?
But
as
that
15?
doesn't mean you have to put the 15 there.
Let's
so you want the 15 on Constitution then?
Yes, please. And then could we do 14 for wisdom?
Yep.
Okay, Constitution, wisdom. Let's do strength at 13. What's left?
Dexterity, intelligence.
Have dexterity be the 8. I'll just be a bumbling idiot.
All right.
You guys are just not. Don't laugh at me when I fall every time. Do what's left? 12.
Intelligence and charisma. You got 12 and a 10.
Do intelligence at 12.
Okay.
Charisma at 11.
All right. No, it's 10. 12 and 10.
12 and 10. I don't want to be stupid, but I want to. No, can you switch those?
Okay.
I'd rather be charismatic because I can be stupid and convince people that I'm not.
All right. Cool. That's the story of Donald Trump's life.
You're correct.
All right. So we end up with a 13 in strength, an 8 in dexterity, 16 in constitution, a 10 in intelligence, a 15 in wisdom, and a 14 in charisma. Because that is basically based upon all the things that we've already been adding from your race and your class.
Right.
So these are your scores.
God,
so.
I am clumsy, huh? Cool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's fine. I'm clumsy in real life. I'll be able to.
You know, as a druid, you must like bumble around the forest, just like knocking over shit as you're going around. All the animals kind of like guide you away from wherever they live.
Yeah, that's what the animals are for. They help me not be such an idiot.
So she's the master of the drunken fist. That's what we were telling us.
Yeah. I don't know why it has this stuff. We're gonna skip this.
You can't skip it. It's required. It makes you fill it out before it'll build the character. Yeah.
All right. Well,
you can
I'm
fill
gonna-
stuff in if you don't like if we don't want to waste time just trying
I
to
have a
figure it
question.
out,
I have a
like-
question. Should I have done that according to the numbers that I saw at the top? Because I didn't even pay attention.
No, that's called min-maxing, and that's for losers, Val. Min-maxing is for losers. Remember,
Okay.
min-maxing is not playing.
Can I work on my dexterity as we go? Is that a thing that can happen, or am I always
Yes,
going to
it
be
is.
falling?
So later on, as we level up, every 2 levels, no, wait, I think is it level?
No,
Four.
it's every 2. Is it 4? Maybe it's 4.
I think it's
It's
4.
every 4. Every
You get to
4
choose a
levels.
feat.
Every 4 levels, you can either add +2 to one of those scores, or 1, 2, 2, or you could choose what's called a feat. Feats are basically going to add on new abilities for you to use, or you could add on to like, oh, you got better at dexterity, you could add +2 to your dexterity.
Okay,
All right.
cool.
I'm gonna have to figure this out later. We're gonna find you a good background. I don't have one right now. Justin, can you figure a good background out while we keep going?
What do you mean by
Sure.
background?
All right.
Okay, class equipment.
So choose either a simple weapon or a wooden shield. What do you think? This is your list of weapons that you can use: club, dagger, dart.
So I get
You said
can
you were
you-
a princess. Sorry, you said you were a princess, right?
yeah.
Okay. So
Um,
noble is probably the best thing to go with, just to be easy.
Well, so the backstory is that like when you. So I was looking between noble and hermit, but I think noble fits more.
Yes.
Can you show me the choices from the scimitar drop down menu?
It's
The
the
one
same
below
thing.
it. Yeah, that one. Fuck. Do I want 2 like offensive weapons or a defense and an offensive?
So as a druid, you're going to have 2 main ways of attacking. You're either going to attack with like your staff or your scimitar or your weapon, or you're going to turn into an animal. But mostly you're going to cast spells at people.
Okay.
Yeah. Your weapon is only, oh shit, I ran out of spell slots, and that guy's like right in front of me.
Okay. So
Let me bonk him on the head.
could you do a scimitar to start?
Yep.
That seems like a good. That's the
It's a
short
good weapon.
pointy sword, right? It's like a melee
Yep.
weapon.
No,
okay.
scimitar is like big with like the
It's the big
Like-
curved blade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I want to be able to take people's heads off. Okay. Do I want a light? Can I do any of these?
You can do any of them.
Do I want a crossbow?
You can have a crossbow or short bow.
What's the difference?
Damage.
Damage.
Damage
And
and
also
then
range. I think at this level it's mostly range. Short bow, I think might do a
which
little more
one's the
damage.
long range?
Short bow
Long
is
ra-
range.
Short bow is long range. That doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. Okay, so do a short bow because I've already got an up close weapon, so I might as well do one so when I'm like in a tree trying not to fall out of it. I can hit someone with a spear
Okay.
or an arrow.
Make sure you do her class equipment too, right? Because that's required.
Yeah, that's what it's doing. This is your class equipment.
Oh, class. That's the okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
This is gonna.
So now we're going to be picking your starting cantrips.
Okay. Explain what a cantrip and what a regular spell is, right? First.
So this is how D&D works for as far as spells. Ready? So think of a revolver, right? You have a revolver in front of you.
Yep.
This revolver is how you cast spells. You only have so many chambers in the revolver. As you level up, you get a bigger revolver with more chambers.
Okay.
So when at first level, you have 3 level 1 spells and 2 cantrips. Cantrips are basically free. You could do them whenever you want, however many times you want. So you could do it like per turn. You could use a cantrip. It doesn't matter, right?
Okay.
Cantrips are usually less powerful than regular spells.
Yeah. When you get to spells, you only have so many spells that you could use per turn.
Okay.
Not per turn, per long rest. So you only have as much energy as you have per level. You can also only learn certain amount of spells. You can't just use all the spells in the spell book. You can only learn a certain amount of spells. So these 2 cantrips that you get at first are going to be 2 things that you could do whenever you want. Doesn't matter. You could just keep spamming them. It's fine. So we have a couple here that are interesting. Druidcraft is going to allow you to make like a plant sprout. Is basically Druidcraft. It's not super special. It's kind of like you could walk up to a potted plant and you can make it sprout up a plant, or you could like change how a tree branch looks. Not the whole tree, but a tree branch looks.
Okay.
Right? Guidance is basically a spell that's going to which one is guidance? All right, so this is guidance. You touch one willing creature. Once before the spell ends, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to one ability check of its choice. Basically, what this is doing is it's allowing somebody else, either one of your party members or an NPC or somebody that's not part of your party, to roll better whenever they need to. So say Justin's character needs to jump over a wall and you don't think he's going to do well, you could pat him on the back and add a d4 to make his roll higher.
Okay.
That sort of shit. Mending is... I wish John was here because John would tell you all about how stupid things you could do with mending. So mending is not, oh, my car is broken, so your character walks up to it, slaps it, and now it suddenly works. Mending is meant for things like a branch breaks, a piece of paper, I rip a piece of paper, you can hit mending, and it will go back together with magic. That's mending. Poison spray is a poison spray. You could flavor that however you want. Maybe you spit it out of your mouth. Maybe it comes out of your hand. It's a poison
Out of your
spray.
ass?
Yeah.
I already have poison spray in real life.
Yeah. So produce flame is going to basically mean that you can go like this and a flame appears on the end of your hand kind of thing. You can kind of throw it and attack people. It's not very powerful to do that. Mostly it basically lets you have a candle at all times, which is fun.
Cool.
Or you can throw it. Resistance. Oh, so resistance is the same thing as the one that I said before, but this is more of they're about to be attacked or something bad's about to happen to them for adding that D4. And shillelagh. Shillelagh basically means if you have a club or quarterstaff, something made out of wood, you can imbue it with the power of nature, and now when you attack with it, it's more powerful. Shillelagh. That's what shillelagh is.
So I can't use shillelagh because I don't have anything that's wood, right?
No, you didn't pick anything wood.
Okay.
But you could also pick up a stick and use shillelagh on it.
Yeah. So what are you thinking?
I definitely think Druidcraft is a good choice.
Okay.
And then I think I'm going to do Produce Flame.
Okay.
Because that seems like it's got double uses.
It does.
So let's do that.
All right. So, level
Are we
one.
gonna go through all these?
I don't know. Maybe we could figure out a better way of doing it.
So
look at those. Do you have
I'm
any
just gonna here. Let me look through them visually, and if I have questions about specific ones, I'll let you know. So I get 3 of them.
Yeah. So here's a quick breakdown. Animal friendship, make friends with animals. Charm person, make any low level
make friends with people.
Bad guy or anything person like friendly to you. Create or destroy water, pretty self-explanatory. Cure wounds, pretty self-explanatory. Detect magic, you detect if that's magical. Detect poison and disease, same thing. Detects if someone is sick. Entangle.
What's healing word?
Healing word is healing. It's a healing thing. Healing.
You say a few words.
What's the difference between healing word and cure wounds?
Touching someone and verbalizing it.
Okay.
One is more powerful than the other, basically.
Which one's more powerful?
I think cure healing word.
No, cure wounds is more powerful.
Okay. Can you drop down the menu again?
Yep.
So what's the difference between animal friendship and speak with animals?
One is giving them a message. Speak with animals is being able to talk to them. Animal friendship is that animal now does some things for you.
Animal friendship is basically it changes how an animal sees you. Speak with animals, you turn into Dr. Dolittle for a little time.
Yeah.
One is having them be like not a servant, but be like more open to helping you. And one of them is just like, hey, what's up? What's up?
Conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me what Thunderwave is.
Amazing.
Force. It's like sending out like a force, a shockwave.
Boom. That's Thunderwave.
Okay, so I definitely want to do animal friendship as one.
Yeah.
Cure wounds is another.
Yep.
And then I'm stuck between detect poison and disease and Thunderwave.
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 All right, so let's do Thunder.
Yeah, be more attacky. So there's 2 different ways you can go Druid. Druids can be just like the
Super
booster
passive.
of the party.
Yeah.
Like the passive, just like helping and healing and all that kind of shit.
Right, but I want to have some form of defense.
Yeah, or you could be a really offensive Druid and just like attack shit.
I like that. Okay, yeah, I think those 3 are good.
Okay.
All right. So, how old would you say Modra is?
Well, I know that half elves end up being like 180 years old, right?
Yes. So just really quickly, if you look to the side, and Ryan can go down, but it gives you a little thing right here. Half elves mature at the same rate as humans. Can live to often exceeding 180 years. So that kind of tells you like your range. Like they can become adults around 20, but they can live past 180 years. So it's really your choice how old.
So do they age slower too? So like a 50-year-old?
A little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
So let's say 42, because I like the number 24.
Okay.
42 seems like an old enough age that I would have gained some skills.
I would say she probably looks like a college freshman.
Cool. Yeah. That sounds great. Height, can we do as tall as I can possibly be? So at least I can be tall at some point.
Like 6 something. So yeah.
Let's do 6 feet.
Okay.
The only time I'll ever be 6 feet.
Okay.
Weight is normal. Well, I don't want to call it normal human weight, but like any weight that a human can be. Like you're not like my weight. I'm a gnome.
Super slender. Aren't elves super slender?
Yes.
So I probably
can be. But this is D&D, so you can literally like technically you could do whatever you want. If you wanted to make like an 8 foot tall elf, like as long as Ryan's okay with it, fuck it.
Let's do I think 150 is a good weight because that still seems pretty standard. I would like does it matter? I can be any color eye?
Yep.
Yeah.
Could I be like emerald green eyes?
You can.
So specific.
That's fine.
Purple hair because it's me.
Yeah.
Skin. I don't
You
know.
don't have
Yeah, skin. I don't know.
you don't have to do a color here. You can do a descriptor too.
Yeah,
Like
just
for
do
my
like.
character, I just said fair.
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
fair
No,
skin,
I think I'd probably be like pretty kind of tan.
So olive. Do olive skin. That's
olive,
like really
olive is a
nicely.
good.
Yeah, that's like naturally tannish skin. So
Yes, sounds good.
Can it be green olives? Because green
yeah,
olives
see,
are
it's
really
gonna make
good.
you. I think actually you can apply changes without doing background, but like you can do the background if you want. Like I said, the noble background.
The noble background.
Yeah, I have the,
yeah, I
I
think
have
we
the
did
noble.
noble.
I have the backgrounds up.
Okay. What's the proficiencies?
The one proficiency plus equipment, skill proficiency, history, and persuasion.
I think I'm gonna be. This character sounds pretty like charismatic and persuasive, so I think I'm gonna be the person that's gonna have to like convince everybody to do shit.
Not necessarily. You
You
can
have
also
a
have
bard
someone.
in the party, so no.
What'd you say?
You have a bard in the party, so no.
Oh, so the
That is
bard's what
always
is the
the
bard
bard's
just
job.
gonna juggle?
Okay.
What
She doesn't
other
know.
features does noble have, Justin? Here, wait.
Say that again.
What other features does noble have?
One of your choice language. Equipment is a set of fine clothes, a signet ring, a scroll pedigree, and a purse containing 25 gold, which the only ones there is probably like the fine clothes and the gold, unless she wants to sell the ring or some shit. Like none of that really ever means anything.
I don't know.
Unless
I don't
unless
know
the DM wants it to.
Ow.
Why is this screen? Your screen got all messed up, right?
Yeah, I know, because I accidentally exited out.
Does that mean you have to do it all over again?
No, it's good. It looks like it came out good.
Oh yeah, we're good. So skill persuasion.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Oh yeah. So we were on background. What are we on?
Yeah, go down.
And
You don't have to do any of that. Do the equipment and then just hit apply changes. I don't know what equipment you didn't. Yeah, see, I told you you have to choose.
Class equipment. What does that mean?
Here, hit the down.
Just
Okay,
do
so I don't know
class equipment.
what things did you not choose?
No, you got it. I think you just had to like. That seems like it just had to be filled out.
yeah, it's good.
Cool.
Looks like it's good.
It says that I haven't done spells yet.
Wait, give me a second. I got it. I'm putting it back.
Okay. What did we say? We said produce flame and druidcraft. Yeah.
Druidcraft.
And then animal friendship,
Cure-
cure wounds,
yep.
and thunderwave.
Yep.
I took notes. That 8 dexterity is killing me.
It's fine. Yeah. Don't worry about the personality traits because you already have all that written down, so we don't need to put that into a
Yeah,
character
we'll
sheet.
do that another time.
Build it. Do it.
What does building a
And
character mean?
it's making your sheet. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Here's your sheet.
Because your dex is so low, you have a -1 initiative.
What does that mean?
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh God.
That's funny.
So, this is
It
going
means
to.
you're never going to go first.
Okay.
So, you guys can see this page, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. So this is your standard character sheet. This is what we just spent the last hour making. So
Okay.
It's not
this is
done.
a character sheet that anyone would see if you were about to play D&D anywhere. So this is everything that we figured out. So this is your strength score, your dex, your constitution, your intelligence, your wisdom, and your charisma. The fun thing is because we're playing on Roll20, it's going to be really easy for you. If I ask you to do a strength check, you just go over here and you hit strength.
Wait,
it's
I
going to
can't-
roll you a strength check. All right. So,
Are you showing something? I don't see anything, right?
oh,
I see something.
Interesting. Okay.
maybe not.
There we go. Now I see it.
Now you see it? All right, good.
Yep.
All right, cool. So, and it's going to roll you a strength check. So these are some things that you're going to be looking at. These are your ability scores.
Sorry.
It's all good. No worries. So when I ask you to roll something, these numbers are determined by the numbers that we put before. So this is a +2. If you're going to roll something that has to do with charisma, you roll +2. Right? So you would roll a d20 and then you add 2 because that's your charisma check.
Okay.
All right. If you're going to do a saving throw, they're special here because you're better at them because you are a druid. So here you added the proficiency bonus, which is up here, and that increases per level you do. So you see how this is a lot easier for the math rather than building it yourself. So if I asked you to do a saving throw, you would hit here because.
Wait, say that again.
Huh?
If you asked me to what?
A saving throw.
Okay.
So I will say specifically, roll me an intelligence saving throw. And then you would click here on intelligence saving throw. Basically what that means is whatever you're proficient at is what you're good at. So all the things that we chose before have that +2 added to it. So your animal handling, your arcana is better, your history is better, your insight's better. All these things are better than they would normally be for anybody else, right? And here's all your skills right here in this column that we already picked before.
Oh God, I'm so not dexterous and I'm not stealthy.
Yep.
You guys, I'm just gonna be knocking over walls of China everywhere we go.
Yep. So this is going to be, and then over here we have these are your attacks. Well, actually, we'll start at the top. This is your armor class. So if I attack you, I'm going to roll to hit, is what we call it. So if something, say a rat was coming to bite you, the rat would roll a d20 and add on his attack, and I would say something like, does a 15 hit you? Since 15 is a higher number than your armor class, which is this number right here, that means that attack would hit you.
Okay.
All right. Initiative in this column is at the beginning of combat or at the beginning of something happening. If I say roll initiative, this is the number you would roll a d20 and then you would -1 because this is your initiative, -1. That's
Okay.
because your dexterity is really bad. Basically, that means how fast you react to things. This is your speed. So in D&D, there is a map that is divided into either 5-foot square or 5-foot hexagons. And that means that if this was a map, you would be able to move in 5 feet. So say there was a corridor, that is 40 feet long, right? And you're standing at one side. Your speed is 30 feet, right?
Yeah.
So you can move 30 feet forward and you would stop 10 feet short of the door
Okay.
at the other end of the corridor. We're going to get into how you could do actions and stuff like that later. And maybe we'll just like go more. I'm gonna try to play these 2 sessions more like for more fun than like fully
Sure.
numbers and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's something you need to know. 30 feet is your speed. You could also, in a turn, if you want to run, you could take your full turn to run double that. So you could run 60 feet in a turn.
Okay.
Right? When you get wild shape, animals have different speeds. If you turn into a horse, you're going to be able to run. You're going to be able to walk 80 feet in a turn and then run 160. That sort of shit.
Okay.
One of the advantages of being a druid is you
Yes.
need to get somewhere really fast. Okay, turn into something that can run.
Yes. So your hit points right here. If that rat did bite you, the rat would then roll damage against you. And that would be minus out of this column, your current hit points. When it reaches 0, you go into unconscious stage. That means you are currently dying.
Fall down.
You fall down.
And
When
what
that
brings me back?
either you get healed by one of your party mates,
With a
or
medicine check.
Okay.
with a medicine check,
Or
Goddamn.
heal wounds, or cure wounds, or any of those
Stuff like
things
that.
that heal.
or you roll what's called a death saving throw 3 times. You need to pass above 10 on a d20 twice to live. If you fall below that, so you have 3 turns to live. If you fall below that 3 times, you die.
What happens when you die? You can't play it all
Die.
anymore?
The character's
Your
gone.
No.
Yes.
Permadeath.
No.
Happens.
Yeah,
So that's
it
this
happens.
column right here. Death saves.
Unless you're unkillable, right, Steve?
Everything's killable. I learned that.
Mm. I had to freeze you to death in order to kill you, and then you just came back with the fucking wish or whatever I gave you.
Yeah, it's okay. I live.
So this column right here is all of your attacks. While we're playing, once again, this is we're doing it super fun, super easy on here. Super easy for you. You're not even gonna roll anything. You're gonna go, oh, I want to attack with my produce flame. You just gotta click on it, right? And then it's gonna come up right here as your attack. Okay.
Okay.
Or you want to cure someone. You want to use cure wounds. You're going to cast it at first level. And it does 5 healing to whoever you want to do.
Cool.
Right? So, yeah. And this is everything that's currently in your bag. You could add to it and take away from it as you see fit by just adding plus and then writing shit.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is all the stuff that you have so far. Okay. I think that's pretty much mostly it. Anything that you guys can think of as far as things she needs to know?
I don't think so, no.
You swing with a pointy end at your opponent.
The thing is, I'm gonna end up falling on my sword because my dexterity is 8. So. You guys are gonna have to heal a lot of self-inflicted wounds.
Yep. And this page, while we're playing this page from core, you can go over to spells, and these are all the spells that you had before. All right. You have 2 spell slots, which means you have 2 bullets in your spell gun. You can only use 2 spells per long rest at first level. All right, and that'll go up and up and up.
Okay.
So, Justin and Steve, who wants to go first? Tell us about your characters.
Justin, you go first.
Do you want to open my sheet so you can show the people's? So there's my guy right there.
Okay.
found that image, but it's the closest approximation I can find.
Are you a little person?
I am a gnome. I am 3.5 feet tall.
I can't get away from fucking gnomes. What the fuck?
Yeah. So if you want to click over to the character sheet, so my character's name is Fortuna Omnis, and he is a tinker gnome, and he and he's a bard and he plays the pan flute. He is a street rat performer because he was abandoned when he was a baby. He was left on the street. And he was found by some homeless people who raised him, and he's lived on the street his entire life. And he does pan flute performances to get money to buy food. So he has always been living on the street, even when he's had the money. He just likes living on the street. He likes, stealing things and playing his pan flute and making money, and he's never known an actual home. He's just always been by himself.
Okay, Loops.
So that's Fortuna. I wasn't around enough to know Loops' backstory at all. So
Loops' backstory got more and more fucked up the longer we played.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So he is a performer, and he likes to trick and deceive people. Yeah.
Very cool.
He is promiscuous.
Promiscuous?
Yes.
He's a little slut gnome.
Yes.
I like that.
Can you do a gnome voice? Are you going to do a gnome voice?
I'll work on it.
All right. Very cool. All right. Steve, what about you?
So I wanted to be a Goliath.
Okay.
But on the sheet there is no Goliath.
Okay.
So I don't know what to do, because I did make a character for this, but it's in a different app.
Okay.
So.
Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Well, we don't have to. You don't have. We could move you over and stuff like that. There's a different way of doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can manually add everything in. You saw that I took my favorite spell, right?
Which one?
Sleep.
Steve, why don't you just tell us about your character, even though we don't have any character bring up.
So my name's gonna be Maverick. I want to be more or less the same. I was raised by a family that actually wasn't mine. And I get put into the army because my family couldn't feed me, because I ended up being twice their size at a young age. And the only way they could be proud of me was they sent me away, or at least that's what they told me, into the military. So I became a military dog to fight for my country. And I've watched a lot of my friends die, and I helped a lot of my friends live.
What class are you playing?
Fighter.
Okay. More intelligent fighter than barbarian? Like an actual trained fighter?
My stats when I was done, intelligence is a 10.
Yeah.
But it's not my worst. My charisma is 8.
As a character, he's not really hit with stick. He's more of a planned attack kind of thing.
Yeah, he's more planned attack.
Very cool.
Which is different.
We'll have to get Travis's character next week, as long as he doesn't have a date next week, I guess.
Dude, the way that the things that I wear to the grocery store, I would never get a date. I dress like a hobo in the grocery store.
No, this is someone that he works with at the grocery store.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's gonna
not
learn.
custom.
He's gonna learn. You don't
Oh,
date
it's
people you work with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
that
We
doesn't
work.
work. Well, God bless him.
Yep. All right.
Wait, Ryan, what's your character?
I have a
Brian's the
lot of
DM.
characters. You're gonna meet a lot of.
No,
you're
wait,
gonna-
does the DM not play?
No,
He
DM
does.
is God.
I'm
DM
God.
controls
I'm a
the world.
storyteller.
He
I am
controls the
everybody
people
else
we
in
meet.
the world.
Yeah. He controls the people we meet. He controls the enemies we fight. He controls the environment we're in. He creates the story that we live in.
This is a lot of
What?
What?
He
So
is your.
I don't
So
know.
if you,
I don't know
if
if
you-
I want Ryan as God. I don't know if that's the best idea.
so think of Ryan more as he is your mother, he is your father, he is your sisters, he is your brothers, he is your enemies, he is your family, he is your love, he is your
Yeah.
death.
I've played Steve's mother and father in a game, and both of them died
Yeah,
because I said they died.
yeah. And apparently, you lied,
Oh, God damn
Did
it.
Steve? I did, Steve.
motherfucker.
Okay, so what comes next?
All right. What comes next is next week we're going to start the game, and we're going to start. So this is where we're going to set up. We're going to set up with all of you at a inn. The questions. So a couple of questions I have for you guys as far as like starting up. Are you guys already a like questing group? Do you already know each other or no?
I don't think so. Because
No?
at least for my guy, he wouldn't be in a questing group. I
Yeah.
think we should do it straight. Don't know each other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm new, so I probably haven't done much.
Okay.
I
Why-
mean, if anything, because of my backstory, I could be like your guard.
Yeah. That makes
Uh,
sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. What led you guys to leave your home then?
So I always had like in my story, I feel like there's the way that like the two groups of my family that like don't really get along. I feel like
Yeah.
I would leave to like get away from the pressure from both sides of people and just like go. You know what I mean?
Did you leave to go on adventures, or you leave just to leave?
I think to go on adventures, I think probably there's no reason like you just get to a certain age and you want to go out on your own and you don't want to be like the princess and you don't want to you just want to like go find some cool shit to do.
Okay. Is she so she's more of like a rebellious like
Yeah.
sure, I want to get involved in shit. I'm gonna get
Yeah,
involved.
well,
in
yeah,
shit.
because I think if you're like a princess, they want you to like be noble and like do royalty things and be like calm and well put together. But like that doesn't work for people who are like coming of age. They want to go do cool shit.
Yeah. Justin, what about your character?
I think if we're going to be in the tavern, I think I'm going to be in the tavern and I'm going to either overhear something they're doing or try and steal from them.
So wait, question:
Depending on how you set it up.
If
I have
Steve,
an idea. I know exactly how it's going to start.
Is-
So
Okay.
did you say Steve? Did you say something about being a guard of mine?
Yeah.
That would make sense if like I was trying to go on an adventure and like maybe my family was like, all right, well let her go, but like have this person
Or I was sent to go find you to bring you back.
ooh.
And then you convinced me otherwise.
And then I was like, hey, dude, just come on adventures with me instead. Family sucks, you know that, because yours made you do dumb stuff. So let's just go on adventures. Let's go on adventures.
I like it. I like it a lot.
All right.
All right.
See, this way Val doesn't get into too much trouble on her first few hours. into
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah, he can. How tall are you? Are you tall?
I am what I put.
He's a
Yeah.
Goliath, so he's probably like 8 foot.
I think I only did like 7.5.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Wow. Okay. So 7.5, 6, and 3.5.
I know we've got a nice variety. We're like those Russian nesting dolls.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Okay, so you have a start already. We have our characters already. We're gonna Travis's character and figure out how he fits into that. But I have a nice little homeless scamp here who's just looking to make a buck. So we'll figure that out.
Looking to make a buck and suck a dick.
So he's I made his charisma. Of course, he's a bard. His charisma is as high as possible. It's the highest skill he has. But he's a gnome, so they're usually not charismatic. But I made him to be the most beautiful gnome that I could. So he's got like deep sky blue eyes and blonde hair and like fair skin, and he's the most beautiful gnome you've ever seen.
But he's tiny.
But he's tiny. But his goal is to steal what he can and fuck everything, literally and figuratively.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Oh God.
I've never played a stereotypical bard before, so I wanted to play a stereotypical bard.
Justin, roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw.
Cool. There you go.
Oh, good. Fortuna gets an STD and dies of syphilis. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. That was what a way to go. What a way to go.
Hey, Ryan, guess what? Sleep. God. So wait, what was it? The last campaign, who was it against? Who did I use it against? Did I use it against Steve? Yes. So our last campaign, Val, so I had a character, I had was it a wizard? It was a wizard.
Wizard.
Yeah, it was a wizard that had the sleep spell. And we turned around and we were in like a kind of like a fighting thing, kind of like a sparring match, kind of.
Yeah.
And I was against Steve's character.
You were playing Dragon Ball.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was against Steve's character, and Steve's like, "Okay, ready? Let's get ready to fight." And I turned around and went sleep, and I rolled really high. And Steve was like, "Let's get ready to fight," and he just went right in his face. He was just passed out.
I was tired.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta take a nap.
No, it became one of my favorite spells. So it's a spell. Whenever I can, I always take it because it always seems pretty fucking helpful. Especially if you're going against like a swarm or something like that, because how sleep works is you roll for hit dice, so like the hit points. So if you're going against like a swarm of things that all only have like one hit point, and I roll like I did 24, then I put 24 of them to sleep. So
yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, so it's a fun spell. It's a spell that I love, and I took like I deceive and persuade and all that kind of shit. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to playing a stereotypical bard.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Seduces people with his pan flute, which I found the funniest. When I saw pan flute, I'm like, fuck yeah, a gnome that seduces with a pan flute.
I like the idea that his head is like at crotch level. And the fact that he's like super persuasive and promiscuous is just like he's probably just like he's got his little grabby hands at people's balls. I love it.
I don't need to bend over. I just go.
Yeah. It's easy.
Well, it's like Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, that was kind of what I was thinking of when you were like a dwarf that's promiscuous. That's what I thought of. Was that scene where he's like got a bunch of women in his bed. He's got wine flowing out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my character, and I'm excited.
I like it.
But I get excited whenever I make a D&D character because D&D is amazing, and I love playing it. So I'm excited.
I need to like think of a character to make with like a one-word name that's just like a stick of celery or something. Like a celery name.
Okay.
Like I don't know, Beans. I just want to name a character Beans so bad.
I love the name Beans. I could picture a character named Beans. It would probably be a human with like very low stats that you just like fuck up into things. Like you just like fucking like you have really low charisma, really low intelligence, really low wisdom, but you're fucking strong as shit and you're fast as shit. That's Beans. You just run into a room, fucking chop a goblin's head off, you go, that's Beans, and you run away.
I love it so much. Oh, Beans.
So,
Beans, you have an opinion? Beans.
The random dice thing. There's different ways that they used to do that, but I think it was Pat's campaign. It was a campaign that I did, and it was you rolled. What was it, 8, Steve? I think it was either 8 or 9 d20s, and you dropped either the bottom two. You dropped 2 of them. You dropped 2 or 3 of the scores, and you applied the rest of them that you got. And I rolled like fucking butter, like amazing fucking rolls. And I had stat scores that were like 18, 17, 15, like 13. Like it was just ridiculous. I forgot which character those for. It was one of Pat's campaigns. It was either one of Pat's campaigns or it was one of Big Steve's campaigns.
That was your swashbuckler, wasn't it?
Yes. It was the swashbuckler that Pat fucking hated. Pat hated that character.
And then he ended up hating my character afterwards.
Yes. So, Val, just before we go into recommendations, there's an offshoot of D&D called Pathfinder, and sometimes Pathfinder gets things wrong, and they make like some overpowered classes and stuff like that. And they made a class called the Swashbuckler. And one of the things the Swashbuckler was able to do is if it was being attacked, you were able to roll an attack against the attack. And if your attack succeeded, they didn't hit you, and then you can roll an attack to hit them from their attack. So because my scores were so high, whenever he tried to attack my character, I was really like, haha. And I just like, I blocked everything and attacked back.
That's
I literally was never hit.
That's so fucking annoying.
I know, and that's why he hated the character so much.
It's the character version of I am rubber, you are glue.
Yes.
Literally what it is.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, it was.
Guys,
Yeah,
I want to make beans. I think I need to be beans. I've been going at this all wrong.
We should make
for your first time.
We should just make Travis play Beans.
Well, no, I like the fact that I have taken this seriously because it makes you understand the workings of it. And you have to pick.
Yes.
But the next character is just gonna be Beans, and he's gonna be like 4 feet
you
tall.
did this correctly. So Val, you did this correctly. The first time we played D&D, you go, oh shit, I can make this really complicated character and I can put all this work into it. And then it amounts to like, not nothing, but it almost amounts to nothing. And then the next game you go, fuck it. His name's Beans. Like, it just doesn't fucking matter. I don't care. It's like literally, I had nothing prepared. All of my character stuff, the background, everything I did was literally in the moment tonight. I had nothing prepared.
So
you were me for my life. Got it.
Yeah. So Val, I joined a campaign that John was already playing it like 2-3 years ago. I joined a campaign and I created a character named Nigel. He was a bard, but he was a druid. Not a druid, he was a drow, which means he's a dark elf. He's supposed to stay down. He was supposed to stay in the dark. They don't like the light, but he decided to come out and he was going to be a druid and he was going to be like this awesome dude. And the first session I'm playing, party comes upon my character sitting, playing a guitar, sitting on the side of a mountain, covered head to toe, covered so that the sun didn't burn him. And the party basically starts walking past me. I'm like, hey guys. And they're like, you realize drow are evil, right? I'm like, yeah, but I'm cool. So they're like, fine, come with us. So we get going and we find this old lady, and this old lady's like, I have these pterodactyls that come at night and like tear up my fucking pumpkin patch. Could you deal with them? So we're like, cool, we'll go deal with those pterodactyls. My character, first session, is like, okay, I'm going to go and rappel down with you guys into this cave. So we rappel down to the cave. whole party basically gets killed. My character fucking just gets his ass handed to him. Like he's ripped apart. Nigel is just ripped apart by pterodactyls. The rest of the party survives because the cleric heals everybody but Nigel because she does not like drow. And they all repel back up the cave, leaving Nigel's bleeding body down there. So the next session I come back, I'm like, fuck it. You know what? This is a dangerous place. I'm going to make a fucking whatever character. My new character was named Cannon Fodder. And I played that character for almost a 1.5 year long campaign. And he was one of my favorite characters that I got like really in touch with, like what his personality was like and everything like that playing through this campaign. I got so attached to Cannon Fodder. He died at the very end because he decided to go down and play with some gargoyle statues. And he was like, I'm a monk. I can run away. Puts a coin in the gargoyle statue. It comes out and punches him to death. And I'm like, Cannon Fodder, no. So you get attached. So
wait a minute. Is this one of those things where you like anything you can plausibly think to happen within the realm of possibility, you can ask the DM if it can happen?
Bingo.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the source of.
That's the essence of D&D.
That's the whole point.
If you can think it, there are rules to see if it happens the way you want it to or not.
Or I, as the DM, are meant to figure out a rule to see if it happens.
Right.
The DM is here as your translator.
Those scores. That's the whole point of all those scores that we just did, and everything we just did. So whatever you want to do, it comes down to you rolling a dice and dealing with one of those scores that we did.
Right.
Yeah.
But your imagination is the cap on, like, it's literally whatever you can think of, wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do, whoever you want to talk to, however you want to talk to them, whatever you want to say to them.
Yeah. Literally,
it's in the realm of possibilities, and then Ryan is the translator to see if it works within the game.
I will, if I'm speaking as an NPC, I will attempt to do a different voice than my own voice.
Oh, God.
So you know I'm speaking as a different NPC.
He does it a lot. He's pretty good at it.
Because we get into that. Well, Steve does sometimes, depending on the voice, but I like doing character voices. So,
I mean, if I was doing like Zeno, yeah, I would do him. I'm bringing back the voice.
No, don't you fucking dare, Steve.
Okay.
Something like, for instance, if you're talking to a goblin might be like, "Hey, how you doing? Huh?" That might be a goblin. Now you know that I'm speaking as NPC, not as myself. That would be an NPC. And you could speak to that NPC. We will have a conversation. There's no rules necessarily unless you're like trying to make the goblin do something. Then you're going to roll. Well, otherwise, while you're talking to Beans the Goblin.
Would Beans be a goblin? I don't know what Beans would be.
I feel like Beans could be a goblin.
So here's a good example. So let's say you come across whatever the goblin, whatever the goblin's name is, and you're just like, "Oh, how's your mother?" or whatever. You're just having a conversation, and you turn around like, "Go punch that guy." He's not just going to do it. You have to roll like a persuasion check to see if you can make him do that. So that's where it comes. Like a regular conversation is fine until you actually get into the realm of like trying to do something.
And I, as the DM, will make that roll, whatever you need to hit, maybe easier. The better you RP that, the better you actually talk about it. Because if you just say to me, I want to convince him to go punch somebody else, I'm going to be like, you can roll a persuasion, but it's going to be like, you're going to have to hit a 18 because I don't know how you're persuading them. But if you and I have a nice conversation, and at the end of that, I feel pretty much persuaded, and you roll a persuasion check, I'm going to say 10. You have to hit a 10 to get it done. It's a sliding scale.
I like this so much.
Yeah. Great.
Okay, so we're running out of time, so...
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is recommendation time.
God. I can't stop thinking about Beans.
Oh my god.
I love him. I don't know who he is yet, but I love him.
Who wants to go first?
I have so many. I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Just choose one.
I haven't been talking a lot. I have so many that have come out since the last time that we did a recommendation.
Yes. Save them up, because you might have a dry spell in a week or whatever like that. So just give us one, and then
I'm gonna go with the one that I've been meaning to talk about, that I've been wanting to talk about for 3 fucking weeks.
Okay.
Bo Burnham's Inside.
Oh, fuck me, dude. I have seen that like 7 times at this point.
I've seen it twice now.
Oh my God. What a piece of genius. That man is a fucking genius.
It's fucking art. It's art. It's above a comedy special. It's fucking art. It's so great. I mean, I've read articles that I've like seen people on YouTube talk about it, of like just how inspiring it is that somebody took one fucking camera all by themselves and did that. Yep. And fucking made that like it so shows you what was in his fucking head, and it's fucking hilarious. Yeah, it's so fucking well done. I goddamn loved Bo Burnham Inside. I've told so many people to fucking watch it. When it came out on Spotify the other day, I just put it on and I didn't stop listening to it for the rest of the workday. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I was alone during quarantine. I live alone. I'm single. So like that was the only thing that has reached like the deepest, like all of the different phases that he goes throughout the time that he's making the special were all feelings that I felt at one point. And it was like, oh, it wasn't just me who was like hanging on, but also on the verge of losing my shit completely. Yeah. And it was just like, oh my God, it was so funny. It was not, it was like, it was, I don't know. I think it's a perfect piece of art.
You know what part really, like, especially after the second time I was watching it, hit me harder than I think it hit most people, is the part where he turns fucking 30 and then he does this song about turning 30, because I turned fucking 30 and he's sitting there and he's like, at midnight I turned 30. I'm like, I know that feeling. I know what the fuck you're talking about.
Do you want to know something incredible about that scene?
What?
So the moment that the clock turns to 12 o'clock, the very second is the second that is the exact middle of the special. It's if you look at the time on either end, it's the same exact time on either end. He lined it up so that the clock turned 12 directly in the middle.
Fucking
and like
hell.
Someone told me that and I was like, "Wow!"
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I'm like, I won't shut up about it. My brother's like, hey, can you stop sending me Bo Burnham related TikToks, please? And I won't. I've made a TikTok about it.
Yeah.
Fucking rules.
Cool. Okay, Val, you go.
Okay, so mine's really short. I forgot to do this like months ago. So I have this piece of art that I got for Christmas / my birthday from my brother, and it's this like a clay, polymer clay artist who works with like polymer clay and resin. And the name of the artist is Steph's Strange Brews, and it's Steph with 1 F. And I think her Etsy is on a break for a couple months, but she makes these like really amazing like sci-fi related creatures in everyday objects. And so the one that I got, let me see if I can get it. So this is Cobbert, and he didn't come with a name. So it's like a Target bowl. This is the bowl that you get from Target. And she made this little like alien creature, but then she made like little like corn
spaghettis,
and she made like ramen out of polymer clay. And so she just made this like a really amazing lifelike thing. And I found it online. I don't even know how, but I said to my brother, I'm like, you need to buy this for me for my birthday. And it's not even a choice. and this is Cobbert, and he lives with me now, and I love him very much. And so it's all very weird, like alien creature things, but like how freaking look at his little tooth.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he sits in my kitchen and he helps me cook. So yeah, so Steph's Strange Brews, super affordable too, like for a piece of like
on Etsy, you said, right?
On Etsy, yeah, STEFS Strange Brews. And like a one of a kind piece of art that's just like so well made. It was like the price was like super affordable for what it is. And as soon as she opens up her shop again, I'm probably gonna buy another one because Cobbert needs a friend. So yeah, check that out if you like weird shit.
Very cool.
Nice.
Steve, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. So I'm gonna recommend a show that I was introduced to last night, unless you guys introduced it before, and I just wasn't paying attention. Record of Ragnarok on Netflix. It is the story of the gods deciding to get rid of people or to save people for the next couple thousand years, and they all decided to kill off humanity, and then one Valkyrie, thank you, decides to say, well, if you're going to kill them off, why not do Ragnarok? You guys against the humans.
We're not playing Jingle Ball right now. Sorry, my cat's doing things.
It's okay. So the entire premise of the show then becomes a whole fighting anime with one god versus one human of history. And the first battle was Thor against Lubu.
Yeah,
and it was
fucking awesome.
Epic. It's fucking epic.
Yeah.
And it has lots of lore behind the gods and behind everyone of the human society as well, which I'm finding really intriguing.
Yeah.
So go check it out. I don't think there's many episodes. I'm on episode 8. And
the thing I'm liking about it is the opening theme is by one of my favorite bands, Maximum the Hormone.
Is it really?
Oh, cool.
Yes. And they haven't released an album in like 5 fucking years, but they do random shit, like just randomly doing an opening for an anime. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it's fucking awesome.
The anime details are friggin' great too.
Yeah.
Like I'm absolutely loving like every aspect of this show.
Yep. I gotta watch more of it. I think I saw 2 episodes so far. Pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So my recommendation this week is going to be a game that I just picked up with the massive Switch sale that was going on. It's Mark of the Ninja. I guess it's been on a couple of different consoles and things. The remastered version is on the Switch. It's a beautifully like handcrafted, side-scrolling stealth ninja ride. It reminds me a lot of like the Thief series, kind of.
Yeah.
Without like the bows and stuff like that, but like the sneaking around and trying to figure out ways around things and distract guards and assassinate guards and stuff like that. It's a brilliant game. I just started playing it. I've already fallen in love with it. It's just a lot of fun to play. It's not very forgiving, but it's not the hardest stealth game I've ever played. But it's a lot of fun. So Mark of the Ninja, I think it's still on sale. It's only $5. Recommend going out and getting it. Yeah. So so we will be back next week to start our campaign with our 3-sized heroes. Heroes is probably a strong word before we actually start because the game can go wherever
Gotta manifest.
But our we're gonna call it the 3-size or the what was the nesting doll trio?
Yeah.
The nesting dolls. Whatever Travis's character is, it's got to be like 5 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 7, 6. So that's the only specification that we're going to give Travis. Your character has to be 5 feet tall. So yeah, but we'll be back. Make sure to subscribe. Check out, if you're listening to this audio, check out the rest of our audio episodes. Subscribe to our YouTube so you can see when we're doing live shows. What do they do, Steve, to make sure that they can get notifications and stuff?
Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Let us know that you like it.
Yeah. Send us some feedback. Let us know what you want to hear. All that kind of stuff. Everyone say goodnight to the peoples.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm thinking
Bye,
about you
people.
being